This is the RTX 4090, NVIDIA's flagship graphics card since it was released in October of 2022. This has been the beating heart of my gaming setup, and as you can imagine, the performance has been unreal. I love bleeding edge technology, and this card has been leading the charge in graphics performance. The funny thing is though, buying this card was never really in my plan. Over the past few years, graphics cards have gotten so powerful, and with tech like DLSS boosting frame rates by up to 50%, the RTX 4090 is complete overkill for most gamers. My previous graphics card was an RTX 2080 Ti, and since purchasing that card, my system was able to handle everything I threw at it. That was until I decided to take the jump to a 4K monitor. In this video, I'm going to cover my experience using the 4090 for the last year, what switching to 4K PC gaming is like, and some of the pitfalls associated with it. I hope you enjoy. When I purchased my display, my goal was to have something large and high resolution that I could use for work, and then something high refresh rate so I could continue to game. It didn't take me long to realize though that as powerful as my 2080 Ti was, it wasn't going to be able to keep up with the frame rates that I had come to expect. My system was struggling to play games like Halo Infinite, Modern Warfare, Battlefield 2042, and Escape from Tarkov, while maintaining the high refresh rates that I had become accustomed to. So in comes the 4090, and man, what a beast it is. This card is ludicrously priced and is typically found between $1,600 and $2,200. I have the Founders Edition and I love the industrial aesthetic, but it is wild how big these GPUs have gotten. This particular card being so expensive is just the tip of the iceberg and really leads me into the biggest con of 4K gaming, and that's just the cost. Not only do you need to invest a substantial amount of money in your graphics card and monitor now, but every future graphics card will need to be a higher price tier in order to maintain the performance you were chasing in the first place. Gamers that play with cards like an RTX 2060 at 1080p can upgrade to a 4060 and feel a great performance boost. However, if you're a 4K gamer, you will forever be locked into that $1,500 plus GPU if you are at all like me and love playing fast-paced shooters at high refresh rates. Gamers can certainly turn down the quality settings in their game of choice to get better performance, but I feel like if you're going for a 4K panel so you can get that extra detail, you're not going to want to drop the quality settings because you're chasing that higher fidelity image. And that really is what the 4090 allows you to do. You can maintain those high levels of detail and those high refresh rates when playing games at a high resolution. And it's honestly an incredible experience. Screen size should really be the ultimate determining factor when it comes to resolution. On a 24-inch screen, 1080p looks fantastic, but if you bump up to 27 inches, it starts to look a little fuzzy. That's where 1440p really shines. And the same is true of going up to a 32-inch screen. I think the only resolution that I would recommend on a 32-inch screen is 4K. Finding the perfect 32-inch 4K monitor though isn't easy, since there are very limited options on the market that have that high resolution, large screen size, and high refresh rate. This year has brought some fantastic new OLED options, but they have their own set of challenges, and it's something that I'd like to dive into more in another video. For my setup, IPS was the clear winner, balancing my needs for work and gaming seamlessly. When looking for that spec, there currently is only a couple of monitors on the market that really fit the bill. And I think the best bang for the buck, while still offering great quality, is the LG 32GR93UB. Boy, LG needs to come up with some better names for their monitors. If you'd like to see a review of that panel, drop a comment below. So I'll be the first to admit that I'm a little bit of an FPS snob when it comes to performance. I typically like to make sure that my games are running at the maximum refresh rate of my panel, especially when I'm playing first-person shooter games. This is why when switching to 4K for me necessitated a graphics card upgrade to something like the RTX 4090. You can get by playing 4K on lower tier cards, but you start to run into a couple of issues. In some games like Overwatch 2, you can hit crazy high performance with lower tier cards without much issue. But even in this game, if you turn up the visual quality, you start to struggle a little bit to maintain those higher refresh rates. And if you're investing in one of the 240 Hz 4K panels out there, you're really not going to be utilizing those to the best of their ability. Taking a look at games like Halo Infinite and Escape from Tarkov, these games tend to be a bit more demanding, and though sometimes the average frame rate looks really good, those minimum frame rates and those 1% lows really is where you'll feel the impact of a lower tier GPU, because those oftentimes manifest in stutters and skipped frames. When you're trying to track targets and aim in game, it can be very detrimental and often very distracting. Gaming at 4K though really is a treat, and the best thing about it in my opinion is that larger, more immersive screen without having to give up any details. So while the 4090 is an incredible piece of technology and a must-have for those wanting the absolute best, 4K gaming itself comes with so many challenges and costs that I don't think that I could ever recommend it to your average gamer. I do love that this graphics card opens the door for an uncompromised 4K gaming experience, but I can't help but feel that sticking to 1440p or even 1080p is definitely the best option. Sticking to those resolutions will give you better performance for less money, and it's just hard to say no to that. This video is a little different than what I've done before, so I hope you enjoyed it. I did put a lot of work into it. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please leave a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.